Who doesn't want to review their year or their quarter or their month? Let's get into it. Welcome back to the apartment. This is the last day of the year. I'm Kevin and this is Real Boring Flips. And I want to thank you again for watching, liking, subscribing, sending comments in, and sharing these videos with others. I work off the value for value model, so I appreciate when you do all those things. I'm hoping what I'm giving you is valuable, and in return you're giving me those things. So thank you again. My resolution for this coming year is that this is my premium content. There's no plus subscription somewhere. There's no Patreon. There's no referral links. There's nothing to join, nothing to send in extra money for. This is the premium content. So thank you again for watching, and let's get into it. I'm going to show you some of the best finds that I had the quarter 4 of 2024. And some of the best sales that I had, really great sale. Now, before we break, I know you're wondering, what's he enjoying? So I'm going to give you a quick hint, and then at the end, we'll show you what I'm enjoying today. This is your hint. If you watch my videos, you might notice that. So we'll go do this quick review of quarter 4, and then we'll be right back here as soon as that's over. I have this Pelican case on my list of best flips simply because it was probably the fastest sale I've ever had. I listed it, it sold within the hour, and I delivered it to the post office all in the same day. Incredible when that happens. This next lot, this was my first attempt at selling Monster High dolls loose. One of the dolls in particular was valuable, and I was tempted to just split that one out. I even had a few people ask about this, but I wanted to just put these all together, and I probably could have made a few more dollars, but in the end, it was still a great flip. I look for this stuff every time I go to an in-person estate sale. One of the places I stop is bathrooms. I look for vintage soaps, any kind of vintage razors, and occasionally you stumble on vintage either cologne, perfume, or in this case, aftershave. Really neat find. $2 purchase was a great flip. It took a while, but look for these things. So this one sale is emblematic of a bunch of sales I've had this quarter, all related to parting out my old refrigerator. I've been keeping you up to date on where we're at with paying for the new fridge. I've sold several parts so far, but just one of those unique thrifting opportunities that you don't think about. When you're disposing of things like a refrigerator, there's always parts on there that someone's going to need. So I stripped that thing as bare as I could before they hauled it away, and I've been selling those parts. This Wagnerware turkey roaster I saw in a picture for an in-person estate sale. I was excited to get a chance to buy it. I love buying those. They always sell, and from the pictures it looked in great condition. I was the first person in the door, and one of the first things I looked for was this turkey roaster, and it was priced at $150. Now, I routinely sell these from around $180 to $200, depending on condition, for the larger turkey roasters. And so I did not buy it. And the next day, I went back, and it was 50% off day. I still did not buy it. The next day, I went back. It was 75% off. I bought it. It was $37. I sold it within the week. It was a great flip. This lot is something I've learned is it's almost better to part out things than it is to try to sell the whole set. In this case, this Jake the Neverland Pirate set had a whole tree house, and I never could sell it. Just could not sell the thing. I took just these pieces, raised the price, and sold it immediately. So shipping matters, and some people just don't want all the full set. They just want the parts. So that's a lesson learned for me, and so I'm adopting that in other listings. This was a great find. It was something that struck my eye as we were thrifting. It was made in West Germany. I thought it was cool. And I really didn't make a lot of money on it, but what was great about this flip was the response I got in my eBay feedback. I love that this woman had to go find this thing because her son broke hers. And so I was happy to get this to her. This cable is just one of many that I find that they look unique. They look like they might be necessary for somebody. Just an odd type of cable, odd type of connector. Could not find any comps on it. Listed it a little bit high, and it took a while, but eventually it sold. This antenna tuner from MFJ, as soon as I picked it up at Goodwill, I knew it was going to sell. I knew it was going to be a great flip, and it was. But it's one of those brands that just you have to be aware of. MFJ. And almost everything I've ever bought from MFJ has been a great flip. Usually low price. This one was, and it was a really great flip. Quick. This paperback book is one of those things that most people pass by. I spent quite a bit of time at this in-person estate sale digging through paperback books that they had in boxes in the garage. I found several Magic the Gathering books. I didn't realize how great this was going to be, but it just happened that this was a very desirable book, and I had literally just pennies into it. So this was the funniest item I think I sold all quarter. I got this at Goodwill, and clearly someone got it at a bachelor party, but fortunately everything was sealed inside it. And there were no comps, nothing to indicate that it was even valuable. I thought it was funny. I listed it for $100. It sold for $100 international relatively quickly. So you always got to look at things that look odd. Maybe you might not want to have listed on your eBay store, but for things with no comps like that, price it up, see what happens. I've bought and sold several models this year in this quarter, military style models. When I saw this one on the shelf at Goodwill, it was very cheap. I think it was under $10. I knew it was going to sell. It was sealed inside the box, not the outside, but I could confirm everything was in there, and this was a great flip. Bats are just something that everyone should look at. Everyone should learn a little bit about. I tend to look for ones that are a -3 drop, which indicates they're like a high school age bat, and which -3 drop means the length minus the ounces of the bat are 3. So, for instance, like a 34-inch bat that's 31 ounces. I look for -3 drop. I look for carbon, BB core, carbon fiber, anything like that. I sold several bats that relatively cheaply, relatively quick sales. I don't mess around with the other stuff, just the higher quality bats. One thing I do is you always want to check to make sure you don't have any cracks, and so I basically just put my fingernails on the bat and turn the bat, like just rotate the bat, and if I feel anything catch on my fingernails, then I have to look much closer. These Tech Deck stairs, as soon as I picked them up it was one of those toy shelves, so just shoved full of toys. As soon as I picked it up, I knew it was Tech Deck. I knew it was going to be great. Little did I know how great this was. The buyer paid a ton for shipping, and it really didn't actually cost that much to ship. I'm not sure what happened there, but they were happy. They paid my asking price plus this outrageous shipping, and really got me into looking for Tech Deck. Soon after I got the Tech Deck stairs, I found several ramps. I found a bag of Tech Deck boards. So someone clearly donated all their Tech Deck stuff. One thing I do pay attention to are computer keyboards, vintage or not. In this case, this was a great package of Microsoft products that I really didn't think was valuable until I finally got around to it. This was one of my items that sat around forever before I even tried to list it. Okay, here we are. We're at the item that I've been dreading talking about. When I sold this, I talked about it in a video that I had that feeling like it might be coming back. Now I sold this. It's a electromagnetic therapeutic device. I sold this as parts, not working, parts or repair, because I could not make the display work. I thought maybe it just needed a new battery because the battery was clearly bad. I took an offer at $800. Now I paid $314, I believe it was, at Shop Goodwill. And as you can see, soon after I bought it or sold it, and after the buyer received it, they asked if I would consider taking a partial refund. And so I felt kind of bad. It sounded like they had a dire situation. So I agreed to accept a return, and on the condition that I would provide them a $500 refund once they returned it. And that would give me $300 and the item back. Well, I didn't know that this was going to turn into a huge fiasco. So lesson learned for people that do not have free returns: don't ever accept a return that you don't have to, because eBay will try to lock you into a full return. I went through several phone calls with eBay on how to figure out how to do a partial return on this item. Eventually, the nuts and bolts of this is, in order to do that, you have to have messaging between you and the buyer on an agreement to a partial refund. In my case, we had agreed to $500, but when I got the item back, the buyer sent it back in the factory box. They didn't use my shipping box, so the factory box was now damaged. And in addition, they didn't send back the paperwork that originally came with it, which had value to it because it was the original invoice with the original pricing. And it now has a slight odor of, I can't even tell what it is, if it's cigarettes or incense or something. So I'm going to have to deal with that. So I attempted to get the buyer to agree to a smaller refund, even though we had agreed to $500. They refused to do anything lower because of whatever their situation was. So by this time, I'm getting mad. I'm mad at myself for even doing this, but now I'm upset with the buyer. So I finally get eBay to orchestrate the $500 refund. That gets sent through, and then the buyer disputes it. The buyer wants a full refund. So fortunately, there was enough documentation with eBay, with our messaging, that they sided with me and only did the $500 refund. So as I mentioned when I sold this item, it just, for some reason, I just sensed that was going to be problematic. In the end, I do have the items back, and I will be able to sell them. I will probably part everything out now that I have a little more flexibility on what I need to make. So, lesson learned: don't take returns if you don't have to. So this Risk Hero game, I sold this one, and then soon after that I bought another one. I love these things. The problem with these is there's so many parts. There are tiny parts. They're all over, and you really have to count every one. Literally hundreds of parts, and it gives me nightmares.
Whoa, what is that? There's creatures. What are these creatures? Somebody wake me up!
I knew this GM Goodwrench original product compass was going to do great, but what I loved about this find and ultimately a flip was that I found it in a place in Goodwill that I don't normally look, and so now I'm spending a little bit of time when I'm in the store looking in that area for stuff like this. It had been hanging on the wall for a couple of days by the tag date, and you got to look out for stuff like this. This was priced very low, under $5, and was a great find. The Lego Pirates. This was something that I got from my neighbor's garage sale, and who would have thought that just pieces were worth something? I knew about minifigures, but I owe this to my son. He dug into the pile of Legos, sorted them out, found parts that went to certain kits, and even though we also have the minifigures to this set available, this part sold great. Oakland Raiders train set. I knew when I saw it that it had the potential. It was hard to comp, but it was from Danbury Mint. And so always pay attention to stuff like this, Danbury Mint, Franklin Mint. Not everything is great, but when you see those makers, always check them out. Not so much on dolls, but stuff like this is really good to find. This cordless handset, if you've been watching my channel recently, you see me talk about these all the time. I had a whole bunch of these complete sets, phone sets, and I wasn't selling them, so I split them all down into just handsets, got rid of the base stations, and I have been selling these like crazy. Not huge money, but I have, for the most of these, less than $1 into each one of these, and they sell pretty well, pretty quickly. Excellent, kind of just a basic meat and potatoes type of sale. So this last flip of the quarter here is just one of many of these great vintage strategy board games that I picked up. This was one of the lower priced ones because it was incomplete. Although it was unused, it just wasn't complete. And a great flip. I have a lot of this stuff, but I'm now on the lookout. And I just got off Facebook Marketplace just a ton of Avalon Hill, MMP. There's other makers, but great stuff to look for. This was a great flip, and I have many more. You'll see one in my Q4 Thrifts, so stay tuned for that. And stay tuned to find out what the heck am I enjoying. You're gonna love this. So here it is. Now, and I'm gonna open this box. Now this box was sent to me by a viewer. Now this has been hotly debated in my own house because you saw recently in a viral video, I wish, in a video that I enjoyed one of these drinks. And so I got this entire case for Christmas. Now, this is the one, I think this is the one I had on the video, the previous video. But I'll show you the one that I'm going to enjoy today. I guess I should have kept it out because now I don't know where it is. There's so many good flavors here. Okay, here it is. This is the one I'm enjoying today. And I'm going to crack this open in just a second, but the reason I'm telling you this was hotly debated is this actually came from my son for Christmas. And he lives in our house, so it did come from a viewer. He got me this. He actually ordered this. He knows I buy these things at Grocery Outlet, but he wanted me to have all these other flavors that I can't get. So this did come from a viewer, being honest there, but the viewer that sent this in actually gave it to me on Christmas when we unwrapped our Christmas presents. So thank you for that, and let's test this drink. Okay, moment of truth. This is the Cooey Coconut Yogurt Smoothie Passion Fruit, and I really hope this is good. I grew up in Hawaii and loved passion fruit drinks, so here we go. Very creamy too, and a lot of passion fruit. So thank you to that viewer for this awesome gift of a case of Cooey drinks. So now we're in the thrifts of the quarter, and start off with these Uggs. This was part of our retail arbitrage that my wife picked up. Not something we do often, but it was a fun distraction while we were waiting for our first and new grandchild to be born. And so we spent some time looking around Ross and Marshall's and found these great Uggs. I have a lot of room here on these. I was really hoping to catch a Christmas buyer, but we'll do well. We've got a couple of pairs of these. It was fun to try out retail arbitrage and see how we do. So these Culver glasses, you saw these recently. I actually got a set of 8, so I'm listing these as 2 sets of 4. That seems to be the best, I guess the best profit method for these types of glasses. Really great. I love these things. This is the second time I found some of these gold mushroom glasses. The first time I've had the shorter ones, but we should do really well on these. It was a great find, and it led to some other great purchases if you saw my previous video. So this F-Notes game is part of my big board game haul over a couple of weeks span. Goodwill just kept pumping out great board games. This one is an out-of-print game, and the only problem with it was missing one piece. And so fortunately I was able to go on eBay and I found someone parting out their set, and I was able to purchase the one piece. I paid just as much for that one piece as I did for the entire game, so now I have about $15 in. But an excellent way to fill out your valuable games is to go searching for parts. If you need to get the part, this game would not be worth nearly as much if it was not complete. So look for those. This waffle maker is kind of an example of what it's like to be a reseller. If I needed a waffle maker like this, I would not go to the store and buy a brand new one, because this one was basically brand new. Can't even tell it's been used, sitting on the shelf at Goodwill. We already have one, but this is just a great example for people who resell what it's like. It's so hard for me to go buy brand new things because I know I'll just be able to turn around and find what I want used in relatively short order. I got a bag of loose GoBots and Transformers, and these were all vintage. I could tell just by looking at the bag that these weren't modern, cheapo plastic ones, but these were legit 1980s GoBots and Transformers. I paid so little. The cashier at Goodwill could not believe what I had found, and I've got them priced up, but if you price out individually, the price I'm asking for the lot is really good. So I'm going to hold out for a while. We'll see what I do. I could break these up. A couple of them are much more valuable than others, but always look through the bags of toys. I really focus in that area now, and I've been finding some great stuff there. So this giant submarine model, now this is the one from Hunt for Red October with the Crazy Ivan. I look for these. I sell. You saw in my the flips of quarter 424. You saw a model in there. These large military models are great finds and always seem to do well. And I'm hoping this one does well. It came to me very cheap, under $10, and I would keep this and build it myself if I don't sell it. So I would advise you not to buy Wii Fit boards if they are not like this one and brand new in the box. This one's new, doesn't look like it's ever been out of the box, and the game is still in there sealed. All the accessories are sealed inside the box. This was so cheap. Look inside those boxes. You see these things in your thrift stores all the time, and I found several, but just by looking in the boxes, I found several brand new ones, and they sell great. The used ones, good luck. This incredible batch of HeroQuest and other vintage games blew my mind, filled my cart overflowing, was stunned to see this. It was one of those magical things that I only see on YouTube, where people come to a new cart that comes out and it's full of stuff like this, and that was what happened to me. Still blown away by this, still working on how I best want to list these. I have a little bit of condition issue on a few of them, but I'm working through that. But incredible find, incredible thrift. This set of audio equipment came from an online estate sale that I was able to participate in remotely, and just a ton of stuff. I probably overdid it, but really great audio gear that most people pass up. It's not the normal. But incredible comps with this stuff, really amazing. At the same sale, I got three Nagel prints, and I already had 4, but these were just great. If you're into Nagel at all, it's always nice to find nicely framed, matted Nagel prints, and I was lucky because I ended up meeting the seller, and And because I bought 3 out of the 5 that were available, he gave me the Nagel book that he had. And it's really interesting. If you don't know about Patrick Nagel, check him out. Check his art out. Lesson learned: when you're at an online estate sale, but you are picking the stuff up and you have access to the house. I was able to meet with the owner, asked him if there was anything left, and he took me on a tour through the house. He said, just point things out and I'll tell you if they're for sale and what the price is. I saw this up in the corner on a shelf, asked him about it. He said it was for sale. We plugged it in, it turned on, but he said he wasn't sure if it worked, so he gave it to me for free. And yes, this is the Apple One Sanyo monitor, literally worth $500 as parts. So I got it for free. Always ask, always make that question, is there anything else? Similar at this estate sale, actually the same day, I picked both of these estate sales up, but the first one was this original Macintosh. It was the only thing I bought, but original Macintosh working in the box, really incredible find. And it was amazing how low the price went. There was a hiccup with the listing, so I even got a reduction on what I paid. And really glad to find this. I've searched for one, original Macintosh, found it in the box. This stack of Sports Illustrated magazines, I shy away from stuff like this because I just don't want to deal with old magazines. But I've had really good luck in selling sets of magazines, and for only $5, I took a shot on these, and was really surprised actually how valuable Sports Illustrated, especially older ones, are. These are not the first edition, not the second edition, but this is the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and then several specialty copies from the 50s and 60s of the football special, the baseball special, the basketball special edition. So I'm going to do really well with these. Surprisingly, had no idea. Most of these do have address labels, but they're still quite valuable. This juicer is one of many that I bought. It's one of the ones that I'm selling complete, just because it is quite valuable by itself. But usually I'd buy juicers for $1.99 on discount day and part them out. I take the pulp bin. That usually is the first thing to sell. You usually get about $20 for a pulp bin on a good name juicer. The pusher usually sells for about $10 to $12. I can sell the blade for $5 or $6. I can sell the top or bottom chutes for about that. And really, really easy. I've stopped trying to sell motors. I just discard those. But I'm able to take these in, process them, and store them and list them quickly. So this game, actually these next 2 items, these were part of my huge board game haul of vintage strategy board games. And for the most part, these were unused, unpunched is the term, because these games have many, many little cardboard pieces that you punch out and use. And this was just an incredible day. So many were on the shelf. Actually, this wasn't in a new cart. I was able to find all of these on the shelf. There was even a reseller standing there looking at games, and he just bypassed all of this stuff. I recognized Avalon Hill, MMP, just several of the ones I was familiar with, and I scooped all of that up, put it all in my cart. I bought every one, and these are incredible. I've sold some. You saw one earlier in my best flips of the quarter. These are a couple of the higher priced ones. I paid between $8 and $15 a piece for these. Really incredible finds. Keep your eye out for vintage Avalon Hill, especially strategy, military strategy games. Keeping with the bags of loose toys I've been searching for, I found these actually 2 items here in the same bag. This watch and these medallions, I guess they're called. I couldn't figure out what these were in the store. I thought they were probably worth something. I thought they were unique. I had never seen them before, and I was right. I'm hoping to really turn this into a great flip. Priced up, but I've got some interest in these, and really fun thing to grab. Okay, so we're to the last item. This is my last of the 24 Q4 thrifts of the year. If you have not watched the Lisa Frank Glitter and Greed documentary on Prime, Amazon Prime. You got to go watch that. It's a 4-part docuseries. I really didn't know much about Lisa Frank other than I just knew that it was colorful school supplies. I was so freaked out actually when I found this because I thought for sure it was brand new. But in the documentary, you'll find out about the P.O. box and how that played a big role in the success of Lisa Frank. And that's what I found on the back of this package was the P.O. box to send in to join the Lisa Frank fan club. This was an awesome pickup and very hard to comp because this particular one isn't out there as a modern 90-day sold. But there are others like it, and I'm really hoping that interest in this docuseries will spur some nostalgic buyer out there into buying this package. Those are the Q4 of 24 flips and thrifts. The best of, not necessarily the best moneymakers, but had the best stories behind them. Some of that was, who I interacted with or how I found them, but fun stuff to look at. So I hope you enjoyed this. And I hope you have an excellent 2025 reselling.